The Daadab refugee complex in Garissa County happens to be the biggest camp with the concentration of the Somali nationals, and owing to its proximity to the lawless Somalia, the camp has been on the government security radar, with the Kenyan authorities severally claiming that the camp had turned a safe haven for Al-Shabaab militias, but they says. Subsequently, the government announced the closure of the camp and the eventual repatriation of its occupants by November this year.
We are very, very clear that, and there's absolutely no question in the minds of all of us, that Daadab has to close. So Daadab will be closed. We are going to carry out the verification exercise so that we know exactly, because currently we actually don't know exactly how many Somali refugees are in Daadab.
Fast forward, and the situation on the ground seems to be behind schedule. Majority of the refugees here are not aware that the repatriation exercise is on voluntarily basis.
Some are saying that they are going simply because the government of Kenya had set a deadline, and they prefer to move before they are caught up.
And nobody is under any pressure, nobody is under any duress to be able to return back to Somalia.
And this explains why the number of those willing to go back to Somalia has increased towards the government's November deadline for the closure of the camp.
That fear is with them. Subsequently, we happen to share with them that the process is voluntarily.
But the deadline might not mean anything to another group of Somali refugees who have adamantly said they will never leave Kenya for Somalia.
No. I'm not ready to go back to Somalia because I have 8 kids who are schooling here in Kenya, and all of them were born in Kenya.
I am not going to Somalia, and I don't want to go to Somalia. My children are learning in Kenya. Somalia is still unstable. I want my children to school in Kenya.
Behind me is one of the reasons why the refugees in this camp are reluctant to go back to Somalia: the health services. Hagadera Hospital is among many health facilities in Daadab under the UNHCR. Services here are free.
There are no hospitals in Somalia. Here in Kenya we have everything. My son here is sick and he is getting proper medication. Nothing of the sort in Somalia.
Daadab Shopping Center can brag of its growth from the refugee camps. Residents in this dust town had a mixed feeling on the ongoing repatriation of the Somali nationals who have almost become part of them.
Sisi tungeambiwa wakae na sisi kama wanapenda, lakini kama hawapendi na bado wangali wanapenda nchi yao, tunawaambia wanaweza rudi nchi yao.
Kuna watu wengi sana ambaye saa hii wanafanya ni wenye biashara, ama tuseme upande biashara, upande wafanya kazi.
Ambaye mistaki waende, kwa sababu akienda hii hata hii UN inaenda, tunakulanga juu ya UN kwa sababu ya hii refugee. Sasa lazima turudi nyumbani.
Kenya, beside the security threat, had claimed that the Daadab refugee camp was a forgotten lot by the international community that the UNHCR promised to address.
It is the High Commissioner's view that this situation now requires to be given a new approach. And the approach that has been designed is finding a durable solution to the Somali situation within the regional framework.
It was the projection of the government to close the Daadab refugee camp by the end of November. But that deadline might come and go, given that majority of refugees here are not in any hurry to go back to their motherland, that's Somalia. Samson Kitavi reporting for Channel 1 News in Daadab of Garissa County.